Can I go to the sleepover?
I want you to promise me something. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
My name is Lauren Brandenburg. I am originally from Georgetown, Kentucky, and I'm currently living in Franklin, Tennessee. I've written 8 novels currently, 6 for children and 2 for grown-ups. So I write both cozy fiction and speculative fiction for children. And cozy fiction is really lighthearted. It's easy to read, no high drama, nothing overly controversial. It's fun, quirky, small town feel. So that's kind of the cozy. A lot of times there's you see cozy mysteries, but this is just cozy in general. So there's not really nothing heavy. It's just an enjoyable, lighthearted read. For children in the speculative genre, speculative sort of encompasses everything from science fiction to fantasy, and my books take place for my children underground. So I've created these sort of mysterious underground worlds, and that's where I have hidden villains and secrets and all kinds of fun things happening. Yeah, so I had this really amazing 8th grade English teacher, and she very much encouraged me to write. I think she found a part of me that I didn't know existed, and that just sort of had always been stuck in my mind ever since I was in 8th grade. I was like, wow, there was something there. Maybe I should continue that. So probably about 20 years ago, I kind of started dabbling in writing again, just kind of writing some short stories, and then it progressed. I took some creative writing classes, and then I knew that I wanted to do something. And I just happened to be sitting once in a church in Georgetown at Great Crossings Baptist, and I noticed the stained glass windows, and all of a sudden I thought, you know what, I bet there's a story there. And I kind of was doodling, should have been listening to the sermon, but was taking some really fun notes and kind of developed this idea of what if a boy used the symbols in the stained glass windows of a church to find a hidden world. And that's sort of where my children's stories started. So that started as 1, and then now I have 6, and I'm currently working on 7, 8, 9, and 10 in that series. Those are all underway. And then my cozy adult books, the first one is actually based a little bit on my own life. It was a story I knew that I always wanted to write, just about how my husband and I had gone through this financial loss and what it was like to overcome it. And we spent some time picking, buying and selling. And so all the odd, fun things that happened in our little life adventure, I wanted to turn into a story. But at the same time, I had this very strange idea of family member in my distant past who had his funeral before he died. So I decided to take the story of my husband and I and mash it with this weird family history. And then that's how I came up with A Death at Mungo Blackwell, set it in this sort of surreal little town called Coraloo. And from there, another series has sprung off. So 2 different things, 2 different directions. Right before 6th grade, my parents moved to Georgetown. So we lived right downtown. They wanted to restore an old house, and that's kind of where my life in Georgetown started. I went to, graduated from Scott County and went to Georgetown College. The children's series is actually composed of 3 small series that come together. So the first series is definitely set in Georgetown, Great Crossings, lots of little nudges to different places like Favas in Georgetown, whereas the second trilogy with the children's books takes place more in the Nashville area, because that's where we moved. So when I moved, my characters moved, and I think that Georgetown's always in my heart, but living in Nashville has kind of opened me up a little bit to some new places. My website is www.laurenhbrandenburg.com. And all my social handles for Instagram, Twitter, Facebook are at lhbrandenburg.com. I'm pretty sure that at least the children's books are available at the libraries and most local libraries. Also, the obvious Amazon, Walmart.com, Target.com. Most of online retailers are selling the books. My adult books are available in the UK and the US, because my publisher for my grown-up books are published by a UK publisher. So I am well underway with book 7 in the Books of the Gardener, which is the children's series, hoping to have it out by the end of the year. And then I've got some other kind of secrets that I can't really talk about, but I would definitely tell people to be watching my social media, because hopefully some big announcements are coming soon. Get your words on paper. If you have an idea, write it down. It doesn't matter how many words you write a day. You can go to so many different websites and conferences, and they'll say, you know, you need to be writing 1,000 words a day. Wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. But that is, in my experience, so not true. You know, I'm a mom. I've gone back to teaching this year just because that's one of my other passions. And so that's not at all effective for my life. So for me, as long as I do something little every day, just even if it's 25 words, maybe a chapter, you know, anything I can get on paper, I feel like I'm a success. And once you begin putting those words on paper, you are an author and you have a project underway. So if you have an idea, get started, don't hesitate, but also don't put yourself on a timeline, because there's not really competition in the writing world. Yes, there's lots of different stories to be told, but we all support each other. So especially in my own writing community, you know, I'm constantly endorsing other authors' works because people don't read just one book. They read a lot of different books. So don't put the pressure on yourself to feel like you have to have it done by a certain time. There's plenty of time to get your story told.